All right, Shalom. Of course, I want to start off by giving all praise to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Yahweh who the world ignorantly calls God, and Yahweh Shai who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. And I just want to do a quick hit, right? Just a little quick lesson, man. Just a little flow through the spirit, on certain, events that are taking place in the world right now, man, which clearly tell us the times that we're living in, which is what, as it says in Daniel, the 12th chapter, right? A time of trouble that the world has never seen before, right? It's going to be a time of trouble that this world has never seen. And that's the time that we're coming into, man. I mean, you can't deny that. Yeah, I remember back in, 2020, when this whole um, Corolla inside joke, circumstance got started. People will be like, I remember these guys, right, these Christians being like, oh, let's pray that everything gets better by next week, so we can go back, to church and see our friends, or let's pray that it gets better next month. And here we are almost 3 years later now, and the shit still isn't going. Hell, I was just looking earlier today, and they're saying that it's, these new, um, gotta watch the words I use, but these new ones, that they're discovering, and with this whole, monkey box inside joke, gotta use code word, right? This whole monkey thing going around now, that's on the rise too, right? So it reminds me of what Christ said, when the apostles asked him, which I'm on the go, so I'm, quoting scriptures off memory. Um, but that's how you learn, right? That's how you learn is by, going over the scriptures because, say for an example, if I'm out in public and I, I'm just taking a walk, for whatever reason, and I happen to stumble across, someone out there teaching the Bible, like these, these Christians that have their little groups and whatnot that go out and teach and whatnot. If I ever ran into one of them, man, I can cut them 6 ways to Sunday off of my memory going by the scriptures. And that's, you got to be sharp like that, man. You got to be able to memorize the scriptures so you can quote them off the top of the dome because you're not always going to have the scriptures, the physical copy with you in every circumstance. If you can, then great. But if you know it off memory, if you're in a circumstance where you don't have the scriptures on you, you can still have a discussion with somebody about them because you have it in your memory, right? So going back to what I was saying, is it reminds me of what Christ told the apostles, the signs to look out for, when his second coming would be and the end of the age. He told them, one of the things he told them is there would be pestilences. If you look that word up, it's going to tell you what that means. So this whole thing, this whole, circumstance, which I got to use code word, what I'm talking about, because, we don't have freedom of speech, here on this platform. Um, but this whole thing fits that, and there's multiple things going on with that right now. Okay, we can't even get into that. But that's going on. You had rumors of wars, right? There was rumors of wars going on for the longest, right? Go looking back at what was that circumstance that happened to Israel and the Gaza 11-day war, right? It happened last year. And here we are in 2022, and now a world war is getting started over there in, Ukraine, man. So you got to keep up with these events that are taking place in the world, man. All right, certain guys will be like this dude Russian vids. Oh, I don't watch the TV because all of that's fake, right? It's all fake news. It's all fake news. It's like, wait a second. So even though, yeah, sure, here or there, certain things might be, set up. I'm not disagreeing with that. But to come out and pretend that everything on the news isn't real, is fake news, that's some bullshit right there. That clearly makes no sense to say something like that. Obviously, in a world of 8 billion human beings, or what's that one meme, right? That dude who messed up the human beings, right? The guy put human beings, right? So the guys were messing around with them, right? Yeah. Shout out to anybody who saw the meme I'm making fun of, right? The guy was like, We're all just human beings. Inside joke. Shout out to anyone that saw that meme. But anyway, um, go back to what I was saying. Is with 8 billion human beings, right, or human beings on this earth, you don't think that there's going to be any actual acts of violence that take place? That's some bullshit right there, man. Hell, I was just at the what is it, Downtown Easton Heritage Day last week, and there was a shooting that happened down there, and it was on the television. So was that fake too? Come on, it's some bullshit what these guys are saying out here, man. As I said, obviously some stuff is fishy. I'm not disagreeing with that, but to pretend everything is, that's just not logical to have that position. That's illogical. That's an illogical fallacy. Look that word up. But going back to, the subject is damn man, these are some tough times that we're in right now, man. This is that's an understatement right there, man. How bad this place is. Especially speaking of America, right? Mystery Babylon the Great, right? That great city. This place is done for, man. And you can see it, bro. You can see it everywhere you go, man. I mean, this place is out of here, man. Right? People getting evicted, left and right. People have to work damn near free jobs. People got to work 2 or 3 jobs. Sometimes multiple different people in a household have to work that many jobs just to, keep all the bills paid. You know what I'm saying? I mean, how the hell can you people out here not see it? This is slavery. I mean, are you stupid ass dumbasses out here in America not capable of seeing that you are a slave, you are a servant? How much of a retard you got to be to not realize that you're working your ass off, at hell, even 2 jobs, right? Let alone free. Obviously, you're a servant then. Well, why the hell aren't you freedom loving Americans in an uproar about that, about how unjust the the financial system is here? Where the hell are you, patriot, freedom loving Americans at? Hell out of here. Oh, which I seen, the story they're covering over in Ukraine, where what was it? They're saying now there was free Americans that went over. They volunteered to go over to Ukraine to fight, and they got captured by the Russians. I believe they were able to receive one of those people back, but the two are still in the two are still prisoners of war, right? They're still POWs at this current moment in time over there, man. Okay, but you know, going to the Ukraine situation, man, is it's obvious that it's looking like the next world war is getting started. I mean, you can't deny what's going on over there, man. We're still, when I said we're, talking about America, over here, they're still sending weapons over there to aid that country. But Russia told them, hey, look, you can't be doing that, right? You can't be sending, the country that we're trying to invade, you can't be sending them arms to defend against us. Otherwise, you're a collaborator with them and you're in war against us. So that's really what's going on. Is it's really America and NATO, which is the beast, in Revelation 17. They're really at war with Russia right now. Their troops are not there. Well, hell, they might still be there fighting. Under the Ukrainian flag. Hell, there could be some troops over there because there was a slip up that Biden did a couple months ago when he was giving one of his speeches. He was talking to the American troops, and they was saying something along the lines of he did a little slip of the tongue and said, oh, when you're over there in Ukraine, you're gonna be seeing, you're gonna be fighting Russians or something like that. You can look it up. You can find it on YouTube. The statement that he made, it was a slip of the tongue, that he said in his speech, right? So it's like, wait a second, what? When the American troops are in Ukraine, they're going to fight against Russians. Wait a second, what? I thought we weren't over there. So then they had the news agency had to, kind of, backpedal out of it, like, oh, he didn't necessarily mean it that way. Damn joke, man. Damn joke. But this place, man, is totally done for. Hell, we didn't even mention what's going on over in the UK right now. And it's not just over there, it's over here in the States as well with this whole heat wave, as they call it. Right? Heat ray, heat wave, whatever you call it. I mean, hell, man. I was watching some, the news, what's going on over there, man. It's so hot over there that some of these airports had to close because of the runway for the planes to take off. It's melting over there. They said 1,000 people over in that, region passed away today due to the heat. Right, 1,000 people were found dead, due to heat strokes and whatnot over there due to this heat. Right, they had to, it's crazy what's going on over there, man. Oh, but that brings up, what is that, Revelation? I want to say the 16th chapter, right? One of the angels, he poured out his vial in the sun, right? And the temperature was, turned up, right? That's the first scripture that came to mind when I seen this, which I'm not saying that, this is that fulfilled right now, because it's definitely going to get worse than what it is right now. But, everything going on in the world, it all correlates back to the scriptures, man. Right? It all correlates back to those scriptures in some way, shape, or form. Right? So you got to look at the bigger picture, so to speak, man. All the events taking place, all at one time. Right? It bears witness to what we're saying, that we're at the end of this thing, man. And you can't deny it at this point. Right? You can't deny it. Like, let me give an example. If you know something about this game, it's called the Illuminati card game. Some of you might know about this. It was made back in the 90s. I believe it was 95 it was made. Or maybe 96. You'd have to look into it. But it was made back in the 90s, right? And, this card game got 500 plus cards in the game. And a good 15, 20 of these cards out of the 500 plus cards that are in the game, they actually show events, like main world events that happened in the last 25 years, man. Like 9/11's on there. The whole, 2019, C word, that's in the cards too. That's all in the cards. Some of you might not know about that. Look that up. It's in there. And again, that card game was made back in the 90s. And you can confirm this is real because you can buy a set for yourself on eBay. If you want an entire box set collection, brand new, it's going to cost you $1,000 for the set. Or if you want a small pack, it's probably going to be about $400 for it. Maybe $300 if you're lucky. But you can look into that. Now, the reason I bring it up is if you take into account that there's easily 15, maybe even 20 cards that you could pull from it and directly correlate them with events that happened in the last 25 years, it shows that obviously, something's going on with that, right? Obviously, these things are planned out. Now, if, say, for an example, there's 500 cards and then maybe one of those cards just so happened to line up with, an event that takes place in the world, we could call that a coincidence, sure. One card out of 500, that happens to line up with a, world event. It's like, okay, cool. That's probably just a coincidence, because it's only one. But the fact that there's easily 15 to 20 in that card game, I mean, come on, what are the odds of that? What are the odds that 9/11 is in that card game years before that event taking place? I mean, I'm serious. Look it up. Look up the cards. It's in there. How the hell is that possible? Unless there was, powers behind the scenes who put that in there on purpose. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. And again, if the card game was made after 2001, then sure, they could have put that in there, of course, and it wouldn't be significant. But the fact that it was made prior to that, that's weird right there. That's weird. And again, you got to look it up yourself to know what I'm referring to. Because if you never heard about it before, you probably uh, wouldn't be familiar with what I'm talking about. But do a Google search on that Illuminati card game, and they go to the search results. Excuse my stutter. Go to the the pictures that you'll get from it, and you can see it. But anyway, man, this place, right? Mystery Babylon the Great, man, this place is done for, man. This place, there's no healing this place, man. It's done. It's finished. Hell, I was even watching, a news article, right, that the Mina Shireg put up a couple weeks ago, man. And they can't even hide it on the news anymore, right? The evening news. They can't even hide it on there. That people are, pissed off and, upset with what's going on, which they have every right to be. Matter of fact, these people should be, ready to riot and overthrow the government. They should be ready to do that. The fact that they're not shows that they're a bunch of stupid ass, peons is what they are. Which, talking about Americans, right? The most retarded people on the face of the earth, of course. And they'll even admit that to you, that their, education system is, pretty damn bad. You can look up the statistics on that. Which all education is bullshit anyway. Teaching you that you're walking upside down on a spinning beach ball. How the hell can you prove that? Realistically speaking, how the hell can you prove that water can curve to a spinning spheroid? And then second of all, how the hell can you prove that the earth moves itself? Because the scriptures tell you that the earth is stable and it can't be moved. But then also, just in real life, right? Even putting the scriptures to the side for a moment, just dealing with everyday life, right? Obviously, the earth is not in motion. As if it was the case, well, if the earth was moving, right, 1,000 miles an hour, well, why couldn't, say for an example, why couldn't a helicopter just hover still above the ground? And then since the ground's moving away because the earth is, rotating, right? So the helicopter could hover there and eventually the destination will just come up under it because the earth is rotating away from it. I mean, we don't see that. So what does that tell you? The earth doesn't move. So the average simp who says it does move, how the hell do you know that? Did you read that in the school textbook? Did you hear that on the TV? Is that your best argument? Because I've also watched, cartoons on TV, right? That doesn't mean it's real. Just because I've seen that, right? Just because, I've watched, animation, that doesn't mean it's real, right? So same thing with, all of this space. Like, let me give you an example. I was watching a series on Netflix. I can't remember the name of this series, but it was a space, series, exploring the universe and whatnot. Happened to notice, like, wait a second, why is it that all of the, what's the word I'm looking for? All of the pictures and video we get in these documentaries, it's all CGI, right? There is not one real photograph or video that is played. It's all CGI. So what does that tell you? It tells you there's no reason to believe it's real. And that just makes logical sense. Right? So there is no real photographs of the Earth from space, because you just got to look up the interview with what's this dude? Damn, what the hell is this guy that works for NASA? It will come back to me in a moment. Oh, Robert Simmons, right? Robert Simmons. Look him up. He said in an interview that, the photo, it is photoshopped, but it has to be. So he said it is photoshopped, but it has to be that way. It's like, wait a second, why does it have to be that way? Like, exactly, why does it have to be that way? Why does it have to be, why does the first image of the world, or any image of the world for that matter, have to be photoshopped? And then speaking of that, why the hell do we not have a 24/7 live feed from the surface of the moon? Why the hell do we not have a moon base set up? If they're talking about, I remember back in 2015, man, there's that big conversation about, people talking about, wanting to send people to Mars by the year 2030, right? Wait a second, they're planning to go to Mars. Why the hell don't we just why is it that nobody came up with the idea of first putting people on the moon and colonizing the moon? If anything goes wrong, they're only, what is it, 230 some thousand miles away from the Earth. You can bring them back, relatively easily compared to Mars, right? And then also, what about the experience we'd gain by, living on the surface of the moon? We could learn about how, a long term stay on another planet could affect a human's body. We could learn how to, maybe produce oxygen on a planet other than the Earth. We could learn how to, we could learn so much. Think about how much of a scientific breakthrough that could be, and how many it could bring for the human race if they were to first colonize the moon before going to Mars. How the hell is it that nobody thought about that yet? So here it is, you're talking about going to Mars. Why the hell did you not first colonize the moon? Because you'd gain a bunch of experience about, outer space and, the effects it has on the human body, in a long-term stay. Why the hell would you not first practice with the planet that's close to you, 230 some thousand miles away, as they say? Why the hell wouldn't you go there first? Before going to a further distant planet, which if something went wrong, you'd have no chance of, reaching the crew, right? But if something went wrong on the way to the moon, they're not that far from you. Hell, you could send supply, crates to them relatively easy if they were on the moon. So I just find that illogical and ridiculous how I'm the only person who ever pointed that out. And I can speak from experience of my years of listening to these, these conversations, these flat earthers, right? Jake the A-hole, Jeranism, what's this guy, David Weiss or something like that, Mark Sargent, um, damn, the list could go on and on. Eric Dubay, as I said, the list could go on and on. But, I've never heard anybody make that statement. I've never heard anybody draw that correlation before. It's like, wait, if we're planning on going to these distant, you know, uh, planets and trying to, inhabit them, why the hell did we not first start off with the one closest to us? And then going back to what I said earlier, with the amount of money that NASA gets every day, to get about, what is it, $50 million every 24 hours? How is it that by 2022 we don't have a live feed camera from the surface of the moon? Realistically, think about that. We have the ISS live feed 24/7. Okay, cool. But what about, why don't we have a camera on the moon? Think about how the think about how important that would be. Think about that for a moment. All of the pros that could come with having a camera on the moon facing the Earth. Hell, we could do it. I mean, hell, they could call it. Apparently, they could call the moon back in '69, right? So, so how could they not get some type of internet connection to have a camera on the moon? If they could call there in '69, and not only that, but they also have connection with these satellites that they send out in deep space, right? They're sending them back all these photographs that they claim, right? So if you have all that, why the hell can you not put a camera on the moon and not find a way to be able to support its internet? If you can send satellites into deep orbit, right, into deep space, and they can send you back photographs with no problem. How the hell does that make any sense? And I've seen nobody call them out on that before. But anyway, I think I'll call that the video there. I hope that was edifying, and I'm gonna say shalom.